Well, hello, SpeedGaming, and welcome to the Links to the Past Randomizer main tourney 2023 group stages. We're about halfway through the groups, and some groups are starting to take shape, but tonight we're going to feature Group H. We've got Trey, Spyre, and Azder coming in with open heart, and this group is still wide open. The only person who's really played a lot of their matches is actually Trey, sitting at 2-2. But we've got Asclepios Rod at 2-0, Trey at 2-2, Coxla at 1-2, and Azder only at one game at 0-1. So plenty of games left to go here. I'm Radical Sniper 99, joined tonight by Tracy. How you doing?
Doing great. Looking forward to another good race. Already some divergence as you're going ahead and grabbing those bombs and saving, quitting straight to Sanctuary. It looks like Trey's going to at least do the Uncle start.
Yeah, with those 3 bombs, not a bad idea to just say, you know what, I'm not going to get enough to go do the front of escape, so let me live with going back for it at some other time.
Nice full magic tree pull that really doesn't get us anything early. But, a fire rod shows up. If Trey gets a magic weapon, could choose to do the escape.
Yeah.
It's not the magic weapon. That is one of 48 pieces of heart that we might see throughout this run.
Unfortunately, this isn't standard.
This is piece of heart mode.
And it turns out the guards are also in the full magic or the magic pool, it looks like. So, yeah.
Yeah, 3 bombs is not going to get you through escape. I'm surprised Trey Spyre has not saved and quit yet. Maybe trying for a different tree pool? No.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see at least a tier 2 or tier 3 coming up as we get the moon pearl out of the mushroom spot. And
okay, money's
yeah,
okay, but
fives aren't bad. But yeah, you did mention, the 48 pieces of heart we will see in this one. So this, if you're used to hard mode settings, this of course is going to be a little different. Silvers are available, but they're a separate item. We have it's not progressive bows for this mode. No armor upgrades, only 1 bottle is available. All 4 are placed, but the others become, I think it's blue rupee. Once
I
you
think a
find
lot
the
of
first bottle.
things. I know the sword still becomes a green 20, but I want to say everything else that ends up getting replaced by a blue rupee. The main reason is the runners want to know where that other sword is, so they can have an idea of whether or not the sword they got, where their opponent might be. So if you get a sword in a really awful place that took you a long time, and you're feeling pretty good about that, you might not feel as good anymore after you see an on-path tempered sword that your opponent's just going to get and just your green 20. So
the other one that is replaced, of course, is the half magic. It has been replaced by a small magic decanter.
Yeah, the sad small magic. I keep saying, can we at least replace it with a full refill?
That would be a very powerful item to find then.
All right, so Trey Spyre going for immediately to Eastern. This is really interesting. As you're doing more traditional start here.
Trey in danger here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, don't die here. Oh, see, there's those silver arrows.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a dungeon. Oh, it's going to just take a death here to get full health to start up. But wow, this is... Like on 3 hearts, it's not even free to do the dark room.
Yeah, and this is all crystal light worlds. Like, I'm really, like, I don't want to judge early, but I'm not a fan of this move.
No, I'm not either.
It feels very risky, especially as we already have silvers. Like, what's to say Azder doesn't find a bow here in CAC and just, or even mini Moldorm Cave and full clears Eastern first trip.
Now we just start with the big key. We got a bottles for sick kid. Yay. And a shovel. Oh boy.
That this forms. Let me clear CAC and end up at dig spot. Like, let me just proceed.
Oh, and a flute. Okay, so we got like almost everything you'd want to get to just completely clear this part of the world. If Magic Powder decided to show up, we can just do the Magic Bat right now with that hammer. That would be amazing.
The fact that we got the flute, I'm kind of just saying whatever to that now. Like, okay.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the thing, like, the whole reason you kind of make this play like Trey is making is to say, okay, I can get my bottle, I can get my flute before I come here. And the seed just said no. Like, just come to Cack and you're fine.
There's more bottles placed. Could still find a bottle. Not going to find a flute. Could find that powder. As just going to buy bombs because, 0 bombs, 310 rupees. Buy bombs.
Yeah, Zora can't have anything, right? Won't hurt us.
Yeah, we're still far enough away from Zora that not going to be the priority, especially since we need a glove or a flippers to even put it in logic. But yeah, it's definitely going to be on Azder's mind. If pretty much if flippers or boots show up, because fake flippering to Zora is slow and awkward, but fake doing the water walk there is not slow and not so awkward. Okay, there's a piece of heart that's never getting picked up. And as you're remembering that shovel.
I'm kind of surprised we didn't just blind check. I always hear a lot of people say, if I've got shovel, I don't mind a blind check of the race game. Not a bad idea either direction, but I know a lot of people subscribe to that theory. Like, if I've got shovel doing race game, just blind check it. And we get a heart container. One of the few heart containers actually in this mode.
I want to say there's 5 total if you count Sank Heart. And now we get to just flute away, probably to 7, yep.
Yeah, I believe you're right with that 5.
Okay, and nothing in Eastern, so...
But there's the sword.
Yay, sword. Like, even a glove, if Trey had gotten a glove in Eastern, could now do back of escape, would have been something useful, but...
Yeah.
There was just nothing in there, and if Azder can just wait until the bow shows up, gonna be at an advantage. Oh, hi, Mirror. Everything just showing up.
Yeah, and there's all the mountain now for Azder. Like, there's just so many options already. Like, I'm not even thinking, like, oh, I feel bad about not having access to, or not having Dark World access yet. Like, you just go and do. And the seed is just saying, here's all the free magic you want.
Not sure if we saw the lumberjack earlier. I think Azure skipped it. Just arrows, so never gonna have to worry about killing Aga for the item.
Yeah, a lot of runners like to skip that check if they're bootsless in this mode, so no surprise we didn't see it. That's 3 pieces of heart. There's 4 and 5.
Heart piece cave, let's go. Okay, we're not gonna do Ice Rock Cave right away with an early flute. That's not a big deal. Now, I think we're gonna see a mountain play. Or a front of escape play. I kind of would have liked to see the mountain play. It's in logic with the flute. We have the mirror to get into Hera and the hammer to get to the east side, but...
Maybe hoping for fire in case, like, you want to do Hera completely, or you hope that you're going to be able to clear Hera. Like, that's the only thing I can think of right now.
Yeah, that would make sense.
We're going to get to see the stun prize, it looks like, and it's also full magic.
I mean, late in a seed, that is a really nice stun prize.
Oh, completely agree. That's great when you're climbing GT and you go through the gauntlet and you're like, I can use my magic a little more freely now.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Meanwhile, Trey's about to get all the relatively bad news. Yes, I have heard this mode lovingly referred to as open heart surgery in a sense, just because of all the heart pieces that you find.
I haven't heard the surgery part, just the heart part, open heart.
I mean, we got to complete the name at that point, right?
Oh, yeah, no, it totally makes sense. I do prefer this at least a little bit to the version that we used in the 2021 tournament. I kind of like the SG Live version where you just have X number of heart pieces and X number of hearts to get you to a total of like 13 or 14. So every time you skip a heart piece, that's an entire heart you're not getting. The hard mode version that we had a couple years ago when the heart pieces all turned into green 20s. Didn't much like that because it incentivized skipping heart pieces for weaker players. The stronger players were already going to be skipping them. And every single race was 13 or 14 hearts, green male, tempered, silverless.
I mean, that's why the hard mode gets quite the rep as kind of being the NMG type mode.
Mm-hmm.
So this open hard pool that we're using for main tournament definitely has a different just kind of feel to it as a result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like seeing silver strats on occasion, you know?
Yeah.
And I've never been a fan of progressive bows because my statement has always been, why do we have 2 bows? But give me 2 ice rods, you know? Have fewer ice rod hunts, 2 boots, you know?
It's interesting. That's, not to kind of sidetrack, but, we're seeing the checks from both of our runners kind of going over some stuff that Knott's really finding. But, this has been a discussion of just, I feel this is something that becomes almost old school, new school runners. Because I feel like, Tracy, you've been around a little longer than I have in this community. And I feel a lot of people who've been here longer say that, I prefer non-progressive bows, where me, I'm like, I came in and it was progressive bows already, and I love that.
It's what you've always had.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Azder's going to go ahead and do this. This will be either an item or a small key, because we did get the map in the back. So I imagine Azder will continue all the way to the back if the key shows up. And if it's the item, we'll see if there's a mountain check. I mean, it feels like the next play. It's just an item. Okay, so can't do back of escape right now. Back of escape, we'll have a key and 2 items. Front of escape has nothing. Now let's see where Azder flutes to. Yeah. This makes sense. The other 2 choices are, Aegina's out there, Ice Road Cave's out there.
They're both slow for one check. We didn't see Ice Rod Cave, but maybe hoping for Boots to set up a water walk. I can't say for sure on that one. As you said over with that Desert Aegina check, I partial to it with Flute just because.
Me too.
It's so easy to isolate that check.
Yeah. So we're going to see the different, like Trey Spyre hasn't done South Shore yet, so hasn't gotten the sword, so it's going to have a slower rescue of the old man. Is making good use of the boomerang to do it. Is also missing the mirror, so won't be able to do Hera at all.
Ooh, a cape. So if we get that lamp, realistically, we are in shape for Aga.
Well, this is interesting. Azder just wanted the old man rescued. Is not checking Spec Rock Cave. I think this may be a search for fire, just in case. We don't have a hook shot to get around it. So.
Save and quit, and just go right back and start at the mountain.
Yeah, a lot of people really like the save and quit to the mountain outside, or save and quit out of Aegina. It's a very slow place to get out of, so doing this here allows that exact save and quit. And just a piece of heart in Spec Rock, because, everything's a piece of heart. And a piece of heart in Aegina's cave, because everything's a piece of heart.
Always. But yeah, I think at this point we just go right back up the mountain. Maybe an Ice Rod Cave play for that fire you were talking about, but that's about it.
Yeah, this will be Ice Rod Cave first.
One thing I will point out, I don't know if, I wasn't hearing Trey's audio, and I really did not take a look at the items as he was going through the old man rescue. But one of those nice strats we also kind of don't talk about much is when you go through the door actually rescuing the old man, you can see Trey using quick swap. You can actually not quick swap while in a door transition, so it helps you kind of audible a little bit more.
Okay, now it's just the mountain.
Yeah, there's nothing left at this point. You're going up there.
I mean, Azder could go to Eastern. I don't think Azder's going to Eastern. I think either we're going to find the 3rd piece of the Aga puzzle up here, or we're going to find a glove. And I think if it's the 3rd piece of the Aga puzzle, I don't think Azder goes to Eastern. to try and avoid it. That's not typically his style or their style.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like at this point, even if we do, like if you want to go to Eastern, I think it's a reasonable play. But I was about to say, Trey, please, the chest. But you have mirror, so like if you're gonna go to pod potentially,
Right.
you could always mirror to Eastern at that point.
Right,
Although,
exactly.
given our equipment, I think it's gonna be South Dark World for like
yeah,
hype
the
and
the hype
K45.
cave. Yeah, that's it's the weird one, right? Because typically, if it's an Aga seed, the hammer is the thing we don't have.
Yeah,
You see, the hammer Aga seed just for what I can't explain why this is. It just feels like hammer for Aga doesn't happen as often as glove or just nothing. Yay, we can do this dungeon.
we've got a decent chance at finding the second item. Woohoo!
Yay.
Solid NMG strat there in that beetle room. Don't get to see this as much, of course, with Harapot now.
No Harapot available without the hook shot here.
So at this point, the difference, you can see Trey's only a little bit behind on the mountain. Trey, of course, having done, there's our glove and our second item in Hera, so...
That's a very easy Hera.
Yep.
And we have hammer for Moldorm, which is nice.
So Trey has done the Eastern checks available, whereas Azder's done Hyrule Castle, so just a little bit of a difference in terms of checks so far.
Yeah, the real difference is Trey is still going to have to go back into Eastern at some point. Azder never has to go back to that part of Hyrule Castle. And it's a potentially skippable spot for Trey, but we don't know. It could at some point be the densest play. There's our small key for map or compass. We don't know or care which.
Yeah, we had one in the big chest and one in the basement, so 2 checks we don't really need to worry about. And we will check the rest of the mountain, because we are not skipping East Death Mountain for those 8 items.
No.
Question I have is, do we see a return over to West Death Mountain for Spike Cave at this point? It is in logic.
Yeah, I mean, it's so out of the way, honestly. I think you
That's my
try
problem,
and pair it.
too.
Yeah, I think you pair it in later. I know Azure likes to hit Hype Cave early. Might do Back of Escape first. So I expect to see those 2 checks very soon. And then probably, I mean, assuming Thieves is a crystal, Thieves probably the next dungeon. Which, it's not a safe assumption. Safe assumption it's a crystal, because we have all our pendants in the Dark World.
Yeah, that's not the kind of seed. Like, that's, I think, one of the worst feelings is you go into Dark World and you're like, okay, I want to do Thieves Town. I've got full Thieves Town access. And inevitably, that's going to be a pendant in this seed.
Yep. Oh, wow. This is interesting. Trey is just not even going to do the mountain stuff. Because Trey is just trying to do things in a different order. It may feel like he's disadvantaged in this matchup. I don't know. I don't know if this is his normal style. I don't watch him play very often.
Yeah, I can't say I've done much racing with Trey to get a true feel on that front.
Okay, Pendant Mire, Pendant Pod, Pendant Turtle Rock.
Yeah, with the green pendant being at Mire.
I just hope Kana Samaria shows up, because
yeah,
I don't want to see the right side GT Big Key into Cane Hunt.
At least we have Ice Palace to help guide us if we do need it. And there's a Fire Rod.
And lots of money. Azure will get that Fire Rod. Trey is not saving and quitting, so probably going to go to the west a little bit. I tend to like doing this, especially with the mirror. You get those 3 other checks. I know Azure maybe... It's definitely a play we've discussed. It wouldn't surprise me if Azure chooses to go to Thieves Town. And with that Fire Rod, probably also Skullwoods.
Yeah, no, this is the this is the moment where you're just like, I'm beating Crystal Dungeons. Let us go. And I mean, for Trey at this point, the skip of East Death Mountain really didn't matter. I think my concern becomes, is Trey more likely to check the mountain? But that could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on, DDM. It's hard to judge at this point. Like, I feel like if I'm Azure, I don't want to go up to Dark Death Mountain very much.
No. I mean, not without a hook shot.
Yeah.
For sure. Not being able to get the hook shot cave. I mean, if Boots showed up, Azure can passively hover. If absolutely necessary, and would go for that sort of thing in a Moldorm situation, but going for the hover in Hookshot Cave is unlikely. And Azure is going to continue south here, so going to do these checks too. I think probably because of the mirror. Let's get this K45 and all this stuff done right away. Also means you can mirror, like where Trey is mirrored right now, could then just walk over to... Well, I mean, I would still flute here.
Yeah, probably.
So it's actually not as... I mean, it just means you can save the save and quit. Okay, and in fact, Azure is going to save and quit. We haven't seen Back of Escape, so this might be a Back of Escape play, and then over to the dungeons.
I will say the one thing didn't mention, while these are 2 runners in Group H, these are actually the top 2 seeds in Group H right now. Entering, and for what it's worth, because this is main and everybody's terrifying. But Trey was the Quartile 1 runner and Azure is the Quartile 2 runner, so... And
oh, wow, there's the bow. Okay, so this fight... see, it's Pendant Pod, though. If it was Crystal Pod, then I would be all over the Pod Eastern Clear. But it's Pendant Pod. Why did it have to be Pendant Pod? So yeah, I think this is still going to be Skullwoods and or Thieves Town for Azure.
Yeah, you'd hope to find Boots, so maybe you consider doing Skull first, but not a terrible option in either direction.
Yeah, the argument for doing Skull second is you'd rather have at least a Master Sword for the Moth fight, and yeah, like you say, Boots for Thieves Town is a pretty nice thing.
Speaking of a sword,
there we go. There's that sword.
Trey having gotten the hook shot and Master Sword in Village of Outcasts.
But yeah, we're not. We don't know if we need boots. We will need flippers.
We're very quickly approaching.
We're approaching a potential go mode, depending on the Kane situation in GT.
Yeah, I mean, at minimum at this point, flippers and mitts.
Yeah, flipper always mitts, of course.
Yeah, and that bow in the Back of Escape is, like, the more equipment we get at this rate, the scarier this becomes for Trey. What sends you to Back of Escape when you have a mirror, you have a flute? Why would I ever start at Sanctuary?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, like, I look at this and go, we need a save and quit from Trey because there's
Oh, hello, Kane.
But we missed the cane.
We missed the cane on Trey's side. So everybody has a cane in Samario. The right side GT big key is now not an issue.
And realistically, at this point, you're really hoping to see flippers first. Although, sorry, I did misspeak to say we're just missing flippers and mitts. We do need a book or a flute. Oh wait, we have a flute.
No, we have a flute and a mirror. Yep, we're good for desert. We're good for desert. I mean, maybe even watching too much inverted.
Yeah, maybe. This is great. We have 5 modes in this tournament. This is one of them.
Yep. I mean, theoretically, it's the simplest mode out there, but I mean, not necessarily. In practice, I mean, we could, we're not gonna have an ice rod hunt today, but you could have an ice rod hunt one of these modes, like the rest of, just like any other mode.
I'll say, in some ways, these non-key modes are almost the scarier ones of the bunch.
Well, there's more likely to be a jet. This one could become a jet. And the problem with the jet seed is that when you don't hit the jet and your opponent does.
Yep.
And that always is a little bit scary. Well, looks like small key was in the big chest. We don't have to worry about. Oh wait, never mind. Trey has about to go check the last place that small key could be. I'll try. Sometimes these palette shuffles make me lose track of the dungeon and overworld versus light versus dark world.
I have said to people who talk about palette shuffle, I'm like, if you want to use it, great. I would say don't use it in entrance, because if you if you get thrown off of being in dark world or light world because of the palette, you don't want to get mentally confused by that.
Yeah, I never really thought about that. I know azder sometimes will use palette shuffles based on the actual mode they're playing. To try to remind, as a reminder of what that mode is, which I think is really smart. Me, I just don't use it.
And all the bomb drops, we were kind of low on bombs on azder's and Trey's side, but azder getting all those kills for the bombs, and
azder, you don't have the small key.
Yeah, unfortunately, going a little bit out of their way.
Not going to be happy with that. Just 10 arrows on blind, so nothing really interesting outside the front 4 of Thieves Town. And I imagine both runners probably hit Skullwoods. azder needs to finish cleaning up the village.
Yeah, I want to get that Master Sword before heading into Skull, but another easy crystal clear at this point. And I just realized we can actually say that Pyramid Fairy is not required in this seed either.
Yeah, mitts and flippers can't be there.
Yep.
I mean, okay, boots could be there, and we don't know if those are required or not. Other than that, yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I know.
As I get mitts, I'm checking desert.
For sure.
What do we need?
I know azder would be relatively happy with a no boot situation, as long as it's not a no boot situation that both players are in. Like back when we had Ambrosia, azder's favorite boots hint was the GT hint. Okay, I don't have to worry about it.
There's some reassurance or some fear to that location,
Yep.
There is some routing decisions to make when you hear that boots, and you can do a lot when you know that they're just not coming.
Yep.
We did get one item in the front of Skullwoods, by the way. On Trey's side, it was another piece of heart. So hopefully, we don't have to do too much more of Skull.
It'd be nice if the second item was just on the boss. Oh, Azur's not gonna go quite right into Skull Woods. This is interesting. Gonna do Graveyard Ledge, it looks like, first. Or maybe just gonna check bumper.
I like the bumper check here. You've really got some good options here. You've had this cape, and it wasn't for Aga. And it's not for bumper either, so...
It's just for show.
Yep. But yeah, that does kind of orphan Graveyard a little bit.
Okay, Azur's gonna get this heart piece too. I like this play. This is what I like to do. Oh, nice saving that. Okay. Where if that item is the small key, I'll continue doing the front. But if it's literally anything else, I will just go to the back.
Yeah, if you have a reason, like if you think you're gonna do something after Skull, I like the back to front play. But here, I think both of them are saying, no, I'm gonna finish Skull and I'm looking to flute away.
A nice quick moth fight from Trey.
But it is not our second item, so Trey is gonna have to head back inside.
He's gonna check the bridge first. And of course gets a big key, so now we have to go all the way back to the front.
So I know you're saying, you know, it is a pendant pod. Not sure how to feel about that one right now. I gotta wonder if the fact that Trey knows that there's really not much in Eastern left, you know, do we see a pod Eastern combo set up for Trey? Or does the fact that Trey didn't touch the mountain really cause...
I'd be really sweating that mountain right now if I were Trey.
Yeah.
Azure, on the other hand, has already done the mountain, has a couple one-off checks, Graveyard Ledge, Catfish. I would imagine for Azure, the pod Eastern play. They have to do Eastern anyway.
Yeah,
and then...
I don't know if we set up for pod, though. Yeah. Like, I don't think you go through Dark World for this one. I think you're doing Eastern and then fluting back to 5 for pod.
That'd also be fair. I don't know if we saw all 3 items. I don't recall seeing both map and compass, so it wouldn't surprise me if we did. I think this is going to be Trey's going to check Upper Ledge and maybe is going to also do Graveyard Ledge.
I mean, at this point, you kind of got forced out, and Azur's just saving and quitting, not even looking for the second item.
You know, Skullwoods is kind of an awful place to go back into because it's, you know, so many checks for the one item. So this doesn't surprise me. Okay, we are going to see Graveyard Ledge from Trey. And this is going to be pod Eastern for Azure. Let's see if they gonna go to pod. I think this is going to be mirror to Saha, and then mirror to do Eastern first. And then when Eastern comes up dry, you go into pod.
Now, I will say, over on Trey's side, important moment. This could be one of those last opportunities for a Bank of Escape play. So, do we see that? I completely forgot. We just haven't gotten the bow on Trey's side. And there's a Quake medallion.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, the miss won't be behind Quake unless the flippers are in a mire or a Turtle Rock that's gated by Quake. That is going to be a completely irrelevant. Okay, here's the back of Escape for Trey. Gonna get that bow. Might send him back to pod Eastern. Still has the mountain outstanding though. Is gonna do going to do Dark Cross with that fire rod. That makes a lot of sense. Again, we got the map and the sanctuary, so he knows that the map will not be there.
Yeah, and I believe we did already see this. I think it was just money in Dark Cross.
Yeah, Azure has full cleared all of the castle, and the only thing of interest was that bow in the back. Yeah, we pay off Kiki because we have a ton of money, and then we go into Eastern. But this is clearly I'm going into pod after this.
Yep.
And I imagine Azure will do everything in pod until they get something, or maybe not do Helma. Depends on whether there's an item on Helma. I don't know if I do Helma here or not. That's always a really tough call.
If you get flippers or mitts, are you bailing? Is the big question.
Yep.
Like, I don't see a reasonable or an alternative there.
Yeah, I definitely don't do Helma if I get one of those items. Ideally, I think you want to get flippers first, and look for the mitts in swamp. Like if you get flippers first, that just negates any possibility of ever having to go into Mire or Turtle Rock. And Trey probably does pod first, having already done most of Eastern.
Yeah, maybe thinks about doing Eastern real quick, but no. Never mind.
I mean, I don't think it really makes a difference.
No, you're gonna mirror after pod either way, so why even worry?
The one argument I would have for doing Eastern first, if I'm Trey, is so you don't forget. I know I've done that before, where and it's even been like in Crystal Eastern situation. Like you get through with pod, and the thing you're supposed to do is mirror and go do Eastern, and you just forget. Chad asking if there's no item on Armos. I honestly don't remember. So we'll find out. And I haven't paid enough attention to Azure to see if they've gotten map and compass.
That was the thing. I mean, when Trey did Eastern, we were seeing CAC, and CAC was just loaded in the seed. We got a flute, we got a bottle, we got was that a hammer?
Yeah.
Like, it was just one thing after another. Silvers. So
that harpy's still not in logic since there's no torches to get to the big key chest, but we don't care. The fire rod will logically get us to the back. That's the other thing, is that we don't have a lamp to put Helma in logic, which, lamp logic is one of those things that runners will often ignore. But I find it harder to ignore lamp logic in a pendant dungeon. It's like, well, do I really want to do Helma? Well, the lamp doesn't I don't have the lamp, doesn't put it in logic. Maybe I don't want to do Helma.
It's just so difficult because of the fact that lamp logic, like the logic to find the lamp, can just be completely gross, would be the way to put it. Yeah,
I mean, that quake could be that quake into one of the Mire TR dungeons to get a lamp to put everything in logic, and if that's the case, we're just never going to see it. And so far, pod hasn't had anything yet, but it's the front of pod. That's pretty normal.
Our last item on Armos was just the 10 bomb, so yeah. Efficient route for Trey. Understandable why Azure does Eastern first, though. Like, you full clear Crystal you haven't touched.
Absolutely.
So these checks are in logic, though, for Trey right now. With that fire rod.
Fire rod, yep.
We play under what is known as advanced logic. If there is a torch in the room that you can light, then if you got fire rod, the check is available.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how complicated the room is. But we're done with logical checks. So if there's something in this pod dark maze, then let's see. Zora Catfish probably has something.
That or Spike Cave?
Yeah, Spike Cave is another one, yeah. Because we need something. I mean, if there isn't here, then it probably has the lamp, and we'll just skip it. And of course, if it's not here, high ice rod, we don't want that.
No, we definitely not.
Send that back. And last check-in pod, 20 rupees. I'll try to pay a little better attention. We did see at least one of, obviously we have to have seen one of Map Compass. Azder's going to full clear as Trey is going to go finish Eastern. This will be a little bit quicker because Trey has already done all the checks. But really, it's... Yeah, okay, so each check has a little bit of a out-of-the-way thing, so... not having to do most of the checks is faster than it would be. It's just going to mirror out after this.
I'm trying to think of what we have left at this point, or realistically what you want to play towards. For Trey, I think the mountain makes the most sense. This does mean I think we see Spike Cave on Trey's side.
Yeah.
Although
it's still hard to route both Spike and Spiral.
Yeah.
And if I'm choosing between Spike and Spiral, I'm taking Spiral every time because Spike Cave is so much easier to get back to. Unless Trey does an odd route, which is you could theoretically go up the mountain towards Hera, hit Spiral, and then Paradox into Spike. But I think that's actually slower than just saving and quitting back to the old man and just doing Spike Cave.
Yeah. So for Azder, I don't know. Like, I think Pyramid Ledge, Catfish, Zora is probably the best play we have available to us.
Yeah, and you could just walk out of pod to do that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I'd walk out of the pod maze. I'd probably still loot to 5 again.
Yeah, I'd be fair. Yep. Azder's going to hammer jump this. Okay. I do not see a compass on Azder's menu, so that means that the Helmosaur item, because I don't think we saw the compass here.
I was going to say, I think compass was top left, actually.
Was it? Okay, so then there is an item on Helma, if that's the case. There's that stupid ice rod that we really, really don't want. But as you're doing this, just in case they decide to come back for Helma, is mirroring out, is leaving.
Okay.
Wait. Trey hasn't done mini Moldor.
I don't understand you, Trey.
Okay. As you're floating to 4, this could also be a way to get to Pyramid Catfish Zora.
But yeah, both of our runners leaving a check on Helmosaur King. So if that is something, if we have a lamp available somewhere, as Trey says thank you to our friend in Mini Moldorm Cave.
This could be Ice Rod Cave. And Azder, I think, is doing Pyramid Catfish Zora. We might end up hitting Zora at the same time, because Trey could do the fake flipper.
I still think Trey would be probably fluting to 8 to set up that.
Yeah, I mean, of course you would flute to 8, but that might be the next thing Trey does. But we'll see if Trey does that or does Mountain.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. This Mountain play is just like, at this point, Trey's got to be thinking
items.
like,
how do you not go to the mountain?
There's a Tempered Sword, though, on the pyramid, so
nice.
Azder maxes out the sword, and yep, here comes the fake flipper.
The problem with the fake flipper is one of the items that you're missing is the flippers. I mean, it does let you get an extra check in terms of Zora very easily. I don't know that Azder's going to want to splash delete for the items in the waterfall cave.
Well, and I guess I'm not always the most well versed on my splash deletion techniques. The fact that we had just killed Armos, does that mess with that one?
It does for the ledge one, I know that. I don't know if it messes with the other one. I am very much not the splash delete expert. I don't even do it. But my competitive play is limited to weekly dailies and ladders, so I'm okay losing one of those because of not knowing that technique. I think if it's a much harder thing to not be doing if you're in this tournament. But I don't know that Azder's going to do it. Oh boy.
And
okay, we got mitts.
And
so flippers for go mode is kind of awful.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm kind of surprised we're still seeing this.
As you're going for it. Yeah, I don't know these techniques at all. Poor Trey. Now Trey is going to get to those mitts, but it's going to be a lot longer.
Yeah, and this is a big advantage for Azder at this point. Like, unless boots are super required to finish this seed and show up somewhere else, like, this is the kind of advantage. Like, what sends... Like, I gotta think Trey's gonna go up the mountain at this point. Like, are you gonna really go for the one check of catfish?
Yeah, I can't imagine it. I do like the catfish play over the fake flipper play. Again, we're looking for flippers.
Right.
You know? We're looking for flippers. Catfish can have flippers. Only Zora here can have flippers. Flippers will not be in the waterfall cave.
So unfortunately, the fake flipper play really did not pay out for Trey here.
Not at all.
The catfish was the right one, and are we gonna get DDM here?
No. I think this is going to be desert. This is flute to desert. You can check. You've got 3 easy checks in the Spyre area. You've got desert ledge. This is not. Okay. This is Ice Palace. Also a good choice. It's a dungeon you have to clear. And
I don't know if I like this one as much when we're flippers from potential go is the only problem I have.
Oh, that's a good point. Could find boots here though.
And I think that's the one reason I'm not completely opposed to the play is if there is boots in here and desert was boots locked, I can see it. It's just the fact that, like, you would hope that this is a go modable ice.
Now this is Spike Cave for Trey. So this will be pretty big.
Mitts or boots? Sorry, not mitts. Boots or flips? Footwear here actually makes a difference.
Okay, heart container for Azder. See, the problem with this ice play is you can go mode it, but you kind of can't because the boots situation is unknown.
And that's why I think it's just like, why not do desert first here? Find out your boot situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, even if you get the big key in logic in the Igor room and the small keys on the torch, I want to know logically what the seed expected of me.
Yes.
Hey, we got
there's
magic.
a sad little half magic.
And here's Trey going up the mountain.
Yeah, and this was going to come. We knew this was happening. At some point, you just got to do the dense play.
Yeah, lucky for Trey, like, this wasn't a huge problem. There wasn't some major progression up here. But, you know, this is a worry when you're if you're in Trey's shoes, is being able to say, I skipped this, and I feel terrible right now.
So of note, Azder's gotten 2 items in Ice Palace. Did not hit the switch, so it's going to need to find the big key.
I wonder if part of this is, you know, Azder's saying, I'm still going to get the extra small keys anyway, because I'll probably need refill room. So, like, I'm not as worried about having done no switch hit.
Yeah, it looks like going to do iced tea. This is these location that screwed. Azder skipped this in the last race and almost ended up pulling it out, but did last location the mirror here in race 1 against Coxla. Now, in this case, it had to be the big key, and Azure needs the big key. One more item, and yeah, an item and map compass. I already forget which one we've seen, because my brain refuses to remember whether we've seen a map or a compass
Yeah, I'm having the same. Like, it's something that the both of us are kind of having one of those nights.
Yep. Okay, small key in the big chest. So we must have seen. Maybe we saw both, or we saw no. If we'd seen all three items, Azure wouldn't have checked that. So we must have seen both, and neither of us caught it. So Azure's little on magic is going to get mostly a refill, but well versed on the dupe strats. I think Trey's now going to go ahead and do catfish pyramid.
Yep, so we'll be getting those mitts in just a moment, but Azure in for crystal number 5 at this point.
Yeah, very nicely done. You use the minimum amount of fire rod shots with the sword being duped.
And nice into that
corner. Oh, baby.
Wow, okay.
Well, that couldn't have worked out any better. Before I go to Ice Palace before Desert play. Now, Desert, you gotta go to Desert next.
Yeah. No, that's I'll own up to the fact that I disagreed with the play a little bit, but it worked out very nicely. I admit the wrong.
I mean, the reason not to do it is, of course, you want to know about the boots, right? The reason to do it is then you hopefully just have the boots, and it just couldn't have worked out better. And Trey, this is exactly when you do front of escape here for Trey. You're right there. You're going to mirror to it. We have a bombos entry from Meyer, which is going to keep us out of there.
Good. Unfortunately, that does, if this Quake medallion is required, that's the worry at this point. Is, do
Flippers
we need
and Turtle
Quake?
Rock.
Yep.
So after doing the Meyer area, it would not surprise me. So we're going to do Desert first. After doing the Meyer area, you're not, unless Bombos decides to show up, you're not going into Meyer. Azure's best choices at this point would be to do the boots checks, the so-called flanctuary, and going back up to Dark Death Mountain.
I would say no to the boots checks, actually.
I kind of like Dark Death Mountain better.
Yeah, no, DDM is, you don't touch boots checks in this case because boots were flippers locked.
Oh, yeah. Of course. So, yeah, okay, so Azure's already got the big key, is going to bet on the item on Landmo. That is a really good point that I should know.
But, I mean, at the same time, like, that just further says, why check Graveyard Ledge?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Like,
but
that's,
if
you were still, like, that is still a terrible check.
I'm not too worried, because we have Smith Chain is the other thing which you could do. If it's Quake for Turtle Rock, probably Azder gets it after Smith Chain. Right? Because that would be the only thing left. And then you're just going to Turtle Rock.
Right.
And Azder's already going to be 2 dungeons up on Trey by the time Trey gets mitts. Also, I did not see what key was on the torch. Or if it was a key. I think it was maybe the map on the torch. So this is, I don't think the boots, looks like the boots aren't required, but Chad asking where the mitts are, we're going to see him in just a second.
Yep.
Okay, I was right, map was on the torch. Okay,
there's the compass.
Yeah, there's the compass, so yeah, we're going back in.
Yeah, both items were right side desert. Ouch.
I mean, honestly, in this particular situation, I like the choice. Go to the back, see if you get the item. I'd almost rather it be 2 items on the right side if I'm having to go back in to get the small key anyway.
Yeah, no, this is, I mean, realistically, we're gonna hit, want to go back for that portal anyway. to check checkerboard cave. So
Yep. So you just you go grab the small key in the big chest. It has to be there. You then mirror back, hit that portal. Also of note that waterfall fairy check that Trey Spyre did. Yeah, Azder's just never doing that.
Yep.
Because the flippers are go mode. And Trey's going to go straight to the mountain for these checks. Now, we're going to know a lot pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean the big pieces here is the, do we need Quake? Do we care like beyond that? But here we go, Azder into right side of desert. What do we got?
Ether.
A different medallion. Great.
Oh boy.
And a piece of heart.
Okay. I'm glad that wasn't Bombos. We don't have to worry about going into Mire still.
We still have checkerboard for that, right? That's
Yeah. Yep. Last chance for the seed to stick its thumb out on us. And we don't need money anymore, so that's done.
Super Bunny Cave giving us nothing, just some money and arrows. And here comes the DDM play.
Yep. So flippers are here. Like Trey's best chance right now is using that quick to get flippers in Turtle Rock.
I mean, the big issue is, how does... Oh no, there's
the
Bombos!
Bombos. That's not ideal for Trey. Unless flippers are in there. I mean, it could be.
Well, the problem with that is, and they're not in Hookshot Cave either. So the big issue for Trey here is, if Quake is required for Turtle Rock, Azder's not going into Turtle Rock. It's Ether, though.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wow, so the medallion for each of our Cane dungeons is in the opposite location. The opposite doorstep.
Yep. So, does Trey do Bombos into Mire after Desert? Does Azder do Ether? I mean, Azder's got fewer choices, right? If it's not going to Turtle Rock, like Azder will either do Turtle Rock or do Spike Cave here.
I think you have to do Turtle Rock in this case. Like, that's your densest play, unless you really want to commit to mitts checks.
Your other choice is Smith Chain, which is also an awful choice. And I'm not. So we said earlier that Trey's best chance was Quake into Turtle Rock for flippers.
Yeah.
I think now Trey's best chance is that Bombos into Mire for flippers.
Yeah, pretty much. The question I have is, Trey, after this play into Desert, like, is Mire gonna look like the most appealing play?
Yeah, I mean, it's because 2 items, right?
Yeah,
it's 2 items. You're gonna get Ether, and Ether is gonna be like, well, I can now go get 5 items in Turtle Rock. Right. And with the mirror, the Smith Chain isn't that bad, so maybe you just go quickly do that,
Yeah, I mean, you've got the Smith, the pegs, and the purple chest, and you can just as easily flute with the purple chest, like.
And if this isn't Turtle Rock, then Azder will either do. I think in Azder's case, since you're not already at Mire, I think you do Smiths first.
Yeah. Heart container, first item out of Turtle Rock.
Also, the game gave us an ice rod. And of course, there's still an item.
Hear that sword swipe that fast.
Also, let's just remind everybody that there is an item on Helmasaur.
Yeah.
So Trey deciding to get that small key on the way out. It's not a big difference. The other point here is if Trey's waiting on... Oh, never mind. There's our flippers. That's go mode for Azder.
Yep.
But what I was about
And
to say for Trey, if Trey is waiting on flippers to do Ice Palace, which would make sense, is not going to get those boots for a long time.
definitely going to get them, but unfortunately, yeah, that's going to be like the little prize at the end of at that last moment.
It's going to be a go mode dungeon for Trey, but
yeah,
I mean, so you know what the best kind of swamp is?
a go mode swamp.
A go mode swamp, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to ask Trey what his plan coming into here was. And again, I don't know Trey's playstyle well enough to know if going, it may just be. There are some people that do some of those goofy plays, whether you go to Eastern right away or you skip the mountain for a while. The mountain skip could have worked out really well because there was nothing there.
Yeah.
Like the only thing on the mountain, like literally the only thing on the mountain was those turtle rock flippers. That was it.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I the one thing on that play is like, why hit mountain first there instead of desert?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We talk about clearing the crystals, and in that situation, I'm a little surprised because that kind of was a last location for Trey.
Yeah, it was a little weird because he waited on East Death Mountain in the light world until almost everything else had been cleared, but then went back to Dark Death Mountain really quickly. I mean, it is a dense area, and maybe was also hoping for a boots before going into desert. And there's that important ether medallion for Trey.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate for Trey in this race. Like the big thing is like the outs that he had, that Quake medallion, the waiting on Death Mountain that we thought had a chance to really play a factor. Unfortunately, none of these things did.
Yeah, and we're gonna see an old-fashioned swamp play here from azder because doesn't do bomb diver down and doesn't have enough magic to use the gain of Samaria. So a little bit of a throwback here.
And I'm not surprised here for Trey. We said 2 items, actually 3 items in Mire, as that is our green pendant.
I mean, honestly, it's at this point for Trey, this is the right play. For what his knowledge is. We know it's not going to pay out. Also, I'm going to point out that if you're not actually opening the chests in the diver down room, you only lose a handful of seconds for not doing it. So, yay. And doing Mire here without boots, oh, that's so painful.
I just realized something kind of funny about this steed. Technically, Lamp could be in GT, I think.
Let me think. Pod. Oh, you're right. Oh, well, okay. I want to see it happen. I have wanted to see the GT Lamp because there was nothing in Pod.
No,
there was nothing we needed in Pod. And we don't even need to do Mire or Turtle Rock. Like, we don't need to do anything in any of those dungeons. And we got Powder, which is a nice safety. It's my favorite safety, so,
Like, the Eastern Palace play, Eastern was not blocked by the lamp, so...
Fire Rod, yeah, okay, well, it's... in the meantime, we got numbers in chat.
Yeah.
Maybe one of those numbers will be the lamp instead of the big key, but...
I'm hoping it's the lamp.
I want to see the lamp in GT.
Yeah.
I totally want to see it.
I love these rare, like, never occur things.
Could also be somewhere here in Misery Mire, but that's boring.
I mean, and there were still plenty of Turtle Rocks, so...
Yeah. Yeah, Turtle Rock Lamp is not unusual.
No, and it's a classic, and I know a lot of, that's one of those things that early, like, new runners kind of get trapped by.
Yep. Yeah, learning those dark rooms. I remember when I started, I was learning the dark rooms. It's like the very first dark room you should learn is be able to rescue the old man.
Yep.
Next is probably Eastern.
Agreed.
I feel like the Eastern to the big key chest is pretty free. Like I've never had to practice that one. Except when it's 3 hearts green mill, then it's less free. But
Right.
for the most part, it's pretty free. I think the one to the back Eastern is one of the more difficult ones.
Yeah, I would say TR Dark Maze is also one of the easier ones, deceptively so.
Yeah, if you understand the way the rails work, because when I first saw people doing that in the dark, because I didn't understand immediately, that you just hold the direction until you go that direction. The idea, I know some people have had trouble with that because they're like, I got to hit the direction at the right time. No, you don't. You just hold the next one until you see the direction change. Mire is the hardest one to learn, in my opinion, but once you've learned it, you have it.
Yeah, I will say that was a lovely climb up that hook stair in the GT.
Yep. And Trey's not going to bet on Viddy for the green pendant, is going to head over to Turtle Rock here.
Yeah, the big unfortunate piece here is just the fact that Azder's had boots just that much longer at this point.
Okay, I believe we're at 3 because just did hope into the left side. But yeah, that Ice Palace play, I mean, like I said, could have worked out better.
Nope. A little bit of, like, if we want to be nitpicky, I could be like, okay, a little bit of an inefficiency of the route by having to go for iced tea. But
right.
Honestly, that's the best I've got to, like, complain about how that
I know, right? And in the end, since there was still an item outstanding, if you'd be sweating it until the boots dropped from Cold Stare, if you'd hit the switch, right? Because then it's like, okay, do I go get the big key and finish it, or do I just bank on Cold Stare? And like we said, Azure got burned by Ice Tea in the last match, so.
Yeah, definitely something I'd be curious to hear their opinion on, and just kind of the thought about it.
Yep.
Because I think we've pretty much assessed this as being like wanted boots before desert, hopefully, and it worked out.
Yep.
But was there anything else behind it that we're not thinking about? Hey, there's a single arrow.
Yay. Yeah, just, and of course, if Trey if this had been Quake. Oh, you gotta check the other chest, see if there's a lamp. Oh, okay. I mean, really, you don't. That is not a good play, honestly. Azure has no idea that they're this far ahead.
Yeah, I think that was 10. Sound about right?
It sounds about right. I can go over it in my... Okay, 1, 2, 3... Plus Davos is 7, 8, 9, 9, 10, yeah, 11. One of Azur's old league teammates shaking his head. Azur's trying to win instead of putting out the entertainment value.
Right. No, you got to understand, you're on the big stage tonight of
you're SpeedGaming main.
Yeah, SpeedGaming main. Like, you got to play to the crowd and understand, I need to have this lamp.
Oh, and Trey is even going into swamp before into ice. So that's another dungeon that Trey will not have boots for.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, this is the efficient route, I would say. Like, you do swamp into ice.
You're out, you go to ice, yeah. Yep. I mean, I think it's less of with flute. Yeah, without the flute, then you absolutely do swamp first and then walk over to ice. With the flute, I think it's a little more 50-50. But, as far as Trey knows, the boots aren't required. And as it turns out, they're not, because the big key isn't on the torch.
Yeah, we didn't even have a small key on the torch in GT.
Yeah?
Ooh, unfortunately, that second arrow missing the second land mode did throw off all that effort on that.
You know, I've seen other people have good setups, and then I try their setups, and for me, it's like sometimes I get it right, and sometimes I don't. So either the Landmo is like the insta kill with the silvers, or I take a few rounds.
Yeah,
You know?
I have a preference for the bonk setup in that room still, and that usually works for me. But definitely, you're still at the mercy of Landmo.
Yeah, the bonk setup for the back of Desert is so much more consistent. And we have to use Fire Rod here. I know Azure Terminal will use the lamp here, but you know, we don't have a choice. Me personally, I also like to use the lamp.
Small magic there. I thought we might have been able to skip that full magic.
I will say that I'd rather have to use the Fire Rod in that room than have to use the lamp in this room. I generally like the lamp in the first room as well.
Oh, we do need that small key here.
Yeah, please don't make use of mirror. That's supposed to be a quick swap mistake, and Azure shouldn't be making those kind of mistakes because Azure doesn't use quick swap.
Getting to use the powder a little bit for this seed.
I mean, there's like that's the place you want it the most, really, when you think about it, because for whatever reason, Aga 2 is the only main boss that we kill in this game that doesn't give you a refill.
Unless Aga 1 gyps you because you don't have a pearl. Like, that's kind of rude.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Trey does take down Argus for crystal number 6. Still has Ice Palace left.
All right, time for Ganon.
And realistically, we've got silvers. We are well equipped for this fight.
I mean, this is like an NMG fight plus silvers. Took that one hit. Should be fine now.
Yeah. But a good solid 1-1.
And silver's my one true weakness. I'm going to say this again. Devs, I want more creative statements there. Whoa,
Oh,
that was a little scary. Like, it walks right through Ganon there.
Yep. Oh. But there we go. That is all 4 silver arrows into Ganon. Azure just has that bridge to cross, and we'll take this game. And there we go. Finishing first place, Azure with a 113.55. GG.
Yeah, GG's to Azure and GG's to Trey.
Yeah, not soon after that, Trey did decide to throw in the towel on this one. Understandable.
There's
Still
a
having,
lot left to do.
yeah. We're in go mode. I don't blame anybody for wanting to call it there. So GG's to both of our runners for sure.
And we do have Azure joining us in chat. GG's.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
We can.
Okay. Flashbacks to my previous match on that Ganon.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. That part where you walked through Ganon was a little bit scary. Of course, it was less scary for us because we knew that the result was going to be. But
as long as the torches aren't lit yet, you can walk through them like that.
Mhm.
You just got to be careful.
Yep.
We are also joined by Trey, Spyre, GG.
GG.
So yeah, so you both went into Pendant Pod looking for a thing, and all you got was an ice rod. You found an ice rod, you know.
I found a
That's
thing.
all. That's all you found. And you were there kind of at the same time. But Azure, you did catfish into Zora and got those myths just a little bit. Well, actually, quite a bit earlier.
I feel like I had anything good left, and I hadn't. I left Catfish for pairing with Zora with the mirror.
Mm-hmm. And Trey, you just got to it later, doing the fake flipper to get to that area to get the extra waterfall checks.
It just with how my route was, it made sense to do it that way since
Sure.
I put off half of South Shore.
Mhm.
I put off the east part of the mountain.
Yeah.
There was so much.
Talk about your routing a little bit. Like you went straight into Eastern. Then when you finally did do South Shore, you missed was Mini Wilderness, wasn't that the Heart Piece Cave? Like 5 heart
Oh my
pieces?
goodness, that was insane.
5 stupid.
Thanks, Tournament Hard Mode.
Didn't do the mountain. I mean, the mountain only hurt you in that it was a little less efficient for you to go back and do it later, Trey.
Yeah, I was holding off for myths, so I could just do all that at once.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because I got that glove out of Hera, and my immediate thought was, okay, let's just go to Dark World because I've wasted all this time in the beginning of the seed finding absolutely nothing. So let's try to gain some ground.
So is that Eastern play something you do a lot, or is that just something you
the not going to CAC thing is something I do a lot.
Okay.
So if I had more bombs or something more, if I knew there was a sword sort of down in South Shore, I would have just gone to South Shore. But
sure.
obviously
you can't know there's a sword. So
right, exactly. And I didn't feel like fighting mini Molderns with bombs today because whoever wants to do that?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so Azure, the interesting part of your route was the choice to do Ice Palace before Desert when Go Mode Ice Palace was on the table, and I'm guessing you were looking for the boots that you managed to find.
Yes, I wanted to shot at boots, in case they were like I wanted to stall on checking whether boots are actually required for Desert. I wanted to see if I could spike them first, and I figured Go Mode, or I figured Icebreaker Ice Palace was wouldn't lose much time, and I was wrong because it was the worst layout for Big Key, but it worked out anyways. Because once I was a little happier when I saw the boots on Cold Steer, because then I'm just like, okay, even if you get flippers first like you're supposed to, you still might not be in Go Mode. You still might be looking for the boots, and then I was a little disappointed when I saw boots weren't required at all in Desert, but I was still okay, we got boots a dungeon early at the very least. And
then the big thing at the end was the medallion for Turtle Rock. Trey, I assume that if you had a medallion for Turtle Rock,
I would have gone right in. That which is exactly having Quake in hand. That's exactly why I went up the mountain as soon as I got myths, because with the ice rod and having everything to kill Trinex, I was planning to just go the whole way, but then they had the medallions had to be flopped for what they needed to be.
Yeah, they were under each other's doormats. So
like, what is this? Like, what is this? Vanilla? Come on.
Yeah, with the timing of like when I chose to do Mountain, I was thinking of doing Dark Death Mountain a bit earlier just for density, and I decided that it wasn't the right play at the time. But like once I saw where both of those medallions were, I was just like, okay, the order that you choose to do things is going to completely decide this race.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, we were talking that one of the big outs could have been that Quake medallion on Cave or Graveyard Ledge, and unfortunately, yeah.
It wasn't needed anywhere.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be in play at all. I was like, when I saw the Ether, I was like very confident it was going to be TR medallion.
So one thing we're a little disappointed. We realized the lamp actually could be in GT.
Sure can.
we were hoping that we were going to see a lamp in GT, which maybe it's still there. We just didn't get to see it.
Which that is why I didn't go fight Helma when I could have, and why I bailed on Meyer when I did, is because I had a very strong feeling that with how the pendants are laid out, lamp is probably just in GT, and I don't have to worry about PED. So let's just make the play to hit the things that aren't in the dark.
Sure. That makes sense.
It just took a little too long.
Kind of funny because Ice Rod was lamp locked.
Yep. Which in the end, I mean, Trinix is always lamp locked, so.
Oh yeah, you're right. Never mind.
So yeah, it would have been fun to see it there, but unfortunately, the big key came first. All right. So Trey, this is your second to last match, as I understand it.
So yeah, our match tomorrow is my last one.
So congratulations getting it over with quickly. I know you're gonna need a win tomorrow to have any real shot.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But, good luck.
Wait, really? Is this group more of a mess than I thought it was?
I think most of the matches just haven't been played yet.
Yeah, I would say most of them haven't been played. I'd say after this, I'm 2 and 3.
Oh.
Like 2 and 4. There's like a weird way that 2 and 4, if like somebody goes 6 and 0, and then everybody else goes 2 and 4. I think we had one of those last year, even, or maybe it was 3, 4, and 2s and 0 and 6. There was a 3-way play-in last year.
Did you beat Coxla twice, or?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay, and then
and then Rob beat me twice.
This group is a mess.
Azder, you're 1 and 1.
I feel less bad about. I feel maybe less bad about my loss before now.
So you still have 4 matches to play, so a lot to be determined for you. So yeah, have you gotten your matches scheduled?
I have everything scheduled. I have both matches at the Slepios Rod for Tuesday and Wednesday next week, and then Coxla is gonna be whenever he gets back from whatever like vacation thingy he's on. I don't know. I just know he's unavailable for a long period.
Sure. But yeah. So how are you feeling now at 1 and 1?
A lot better than 0 and 1.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty busy right now with Super Metroid Rando League as well, as you would know.
Yes, I well know.
So it's been yeah, D-Web is like literally correct. I think that 1-on-1 is infinitely better. But yeah, just being as busy as I am right now, don't have a ton of time to practice. We got to schedule all these matches, and I'm just trying not to worry about it too much, because like I think whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. But I've been a lot less stressed for these races lately than I have been for past tournaments, and that's a nice feeling at least.
That's good. All right. Anything else either one of you wants to add before we close this out?
No. Thanks for commenting for us. Thanks for putting on the restream, SG. Appreciate all of you. Lopoi, I think is how I pronounce your name. Thank you for
Lopoi,
tracking as well.
Yep. Haven't shout out our tracker. Thank you for doing that, because tracker's always the MVPs. Thank you, Lopoi.
And GG's again, azder.
Yeah, GG's. See you tomorrow. And thanks for the restream today.
All right. We do have more races on the schedule on Restream tonight. Going on right now. Looks like they're about 15 minutes in. Over on SpeedGaming 3, we have Homewrecker versus Slapshot Fred for another open hard mode race. And then at 10:10, we have P-Train versus JP Brewers Fan, or Brewers Fan JP, over on SpeedGaming. Oh, right here on this channel. So lots more to come. I'm sure lots to be scheduled tomorrow. I know they're still working out the schedule for tomorrow. So keep an eye on it.
I can say for games tomorrow, it does look like at least 4 races are scheduled and put on for restream across the SpeedGaming channels as well as ALTTP randomizer. So there is possibilities for more races to get added onto the schedule for restream. Pending volunteer signups. So
right. I know they're always looking to get as many races on the schedule as they possibly can. So
if you are a commentator or a tracker who's interested, if you see somebody you want to commentate their race or track a race, put signups in. It does help kind of guide if there is space available. So really appreciate all people jumping and just saying, pick me and I'll help. Like we really do appreciate it.
All right. So yeah, that's going to do it for us. Head over to SpeedGaming 3 for that race going on right now. Radical Sniper, always a pleasure doing comms with you. I know it was last minute you joined, so really really appreciate you jumping in.
Yeah, had a great time again, as always.
And of course, we already mentioned Lopoi, but can't mention our trackers enough. Always the MVPs of our broadcasts. And of course, thank you to all of you out there in chat and all the people behind the scenes at SG. We really appreciate you. We'll see you over in SpeedGaming 3 at the next one.